It's sometimes funny how life can come full circle, how the past can repeat itself to give us a slap in the face to remind us of the mistakes we've made in the past. According to two different surveys from the People's Daily, the growing inequality between the rich and the poor, the wealth gap, in China is the biggest concern facing people in China right now. Despite the astronomical economic growth of China, the vast majority of the Chinese people have seen absolutely no increase in their living standards. In fact, with the single act of getting rid of the universal healthcare system, the living standards of people, the average person in China, has dropped dramatically. Despite the creation of billionaires, poverty has grown ever since. Ever since the revisionism began and socialism began being ripped out of the hands of the people, poverty has skyrocketed. China's Gini coefficient, the system used designed to measure social inequality, sits at 0.47%. At 0.5%, it's considered there to be a great deal of social unrest. In 2009, the richest 10% of the population owned 45% of the country. At the same time, the poorest 10% of the country owned 1.4%. Did you know the rich in China have their own expression that they use when they screw over poor people, and they throw it in their face that there's nothing they can do about it? The expression is, "My father is Li Gong." A poor farmer's girl, Chen Xiaofen, was rollerblading at the local university. As she was with a friend, they were rollerblading. This guy comes out of nowhere, hits them. Eventually, in the hospital, she dies. But when the security for the hospital stopped the guy and they grabbed a hold of him, he said, "Go ahead, sue me. My father was Li Gong." The driver of the vehicle was the son of Li Gong, the district's deputy police chief. When party officials found out about this, the fake Communist Party officials found out about this, they did everything they could to cover this up in the media. They threatened people, punished them, silenced witnesses, anything to make sure this didn't get out because it would make the police and the upper class look bad. Kind of like the way things work here, where WikiLeaks is apparently so evil in the eyes of all media. I have seen no one in the media actually defend this guy because he exposes the criminality and the hateful, exploitive nature of the ruling class. When the rich commit a crime against the poor, they just say, "My father is Li Gong." Often we hear criticisms of China's former one-child policy, where people were encouraged to have only one child. And they were criticized, saying that it's population control and a whole bunch of other things. They even created this whole huge evil scenario where people were drowning little girls when they were born for not being boys, and that boys had more value than girls. But what's funny about that is that there's been not one documented case of that actually happening. There's been hundreds, if not thousands, of articles and columns written on it, but nowhere is there recorded an actual incident of it happening. It never ceases to amaze me that you can tell a Western audience anything and they'll believe it. Anything. Capitalist China, however, has already come up with its own solution for overpopulation. It's impoverished the working class so much they don't want to have children. A new trend among poor workers who call themselves the poor second generation. They have, in large numbers, given up on having children because they don't want them to live the same lives that they do. For all the BS, all the lies you want to make up about communist China, at no point did people give up living. Conditions were not so bad that people just gave up and the cycle of life ended. This is something wholly and completely unique to capitalism. The people of China already know the solution to their problem. It's a return to socialism, a return to Maoism. And if that wasn't true, then why would 3,000 workers go on strike in a steel facility to prevent the place from being sold to a private company. They did not want their workplace to be privatized because they know what happens when a place gets privatized. Their wages drop down to next to nothing. Their hours, in some cases, double. They know they don't want private enterprise because they know what's going to happen to them as a result. The Chinese people already know a return to socialism, a return to Maoism, is the only thing that's going to save them. A fear of social instability is what the Chinese government has very clearly said is its biggest fear. All there has to be is one small incident and the people of China could revolt and they could perform another revolution. They already know how to do it, they already have the skills, and they already have the guiding philosophy to do so. All it will take is one incident to start that course all over again.